We start with the blue and white logo of Guiding Eyes for the Blind. We see a photo of hot pink rhododendrons in bloom. Guiding Eyes for the Blind presents the graduating class of June 2018. From their right, we see Cheyenne and his black lab Wendy crossing a long residential street. Now we see them walking down a sidewalk with a tall redwood-colored fence to their left. From our spot at the bottom, we see Cheyenne and Wendy coming towards us down an escalator. In the shadow of spring trees, we see them stepping up onto the curb. Cheyenne and Wendy pose in front of a store window full of athletic logos. Congratulations, Wendy's Razors, Caroline Costello, and Diane Sugarman. We see Donna and her yellow lab Eldon walking towards us on printed pavement. Inside, Donna leans forward as Eldon brings her a green and pink toy. In a professional portrait, Donna and Eldon look happy with their heads close together. Here in the distance, we see Donna and Eldon walking away from us through a steel structure. Donna and Eldon walk through a shadowy sidewalk on a sunny spring day. Congratulations, Eldon's razor, Melina Carroll. Now we have Marianne and her yellow lab, Delilah, walking down the pavement with iron fencing and plantings to their right. With a brick building behind them, Marianne sits on a park bench and Delilah looks up at her. Here we see Marianne and Delilah in an elevator waiting for the doors to close. Delilah lays on the floor and looks up at the camera as they take a ride on the train. With the train and the yellow edge strip to their left, we see them walking towards us down the train platform. Congratulations, Delilah's Razors, Carla and Bruce Gentile. Now we see Tony and his black lab Walter walking through a crosswalk with uneven pavement. Here the two sit on a grooming table while Tony looks down at Walter. On a warm sunny day, we see the two walking towards us through a white painted crosswalk. From their right side, we see Tony and Walter going down a sidewalk with a white building and plantings to their left. Tony and Walter successfully navigate down a busy street full of obstacles. Congratulations, Walter's Razors, Alice Wheelock, Tiffany Tomaselli, and Eric Charnley. Carlton and his black lab, Rasha, are stepping into a brick crosswalk. At the curve of a sunny street, Carlton bends down to speak to Rasha. With their trainers, Carlton and Rasha confidently cross a busy city street. Rasha turns towards the camera as she and Carlton stop at the door of the White Plains facility. Carlton smiles, sitting on the grooming table and reaching down to pet Rasha. Congratulations, Rasha's Razors, Barbara and Dick Lippert. Next we have Chaz and his black lab Trisha about to reach the curb after crossing the street. Trisha happily lifts her face as Chaz gives her a hug around the neck. Chaz and Trisha walk down a sunny sidewalk with a raised patio to their left. As the new team steps up on the curb, Trisha looks up towards Chaz as he reaches for the treat bag. Trisha lies on the floor and Chaz leans over and gives her a big hug around the neck. Congratulations, Trisha's Razor, Leslie Hupke. Now we see Dave and his black lab Denver walking down a sunny sidewalk with storefronts beyond them. Dave sits in an outdoor metal chair as Denver lays at his feet and looks up at him. Dave and Denver practice targeting at a bench in front of a store. Denver watches attentively as Dave works with the keypad at the entrance of White Plains. We see the new team is walking confidently towards us down a sidewalk. Congratulations, Denver's Razors, Liz and Maggie Beller. From their left, we see Demetria and her German Shepherd Flash coming through a white painted crosswalk. Demetria smiles as she leans forward and gives Flash a big hug around the neck. Walking down a sunny sidewalk, the two are approaching the corner of a building. Demetria and Flash pause to get instruction from the trainer at a busy street corner. Flash gets a nice scratch on the back after a day of training. Congratulations, Flash's Razors, the Schatz family. Now we have Mackenzie and his German Shepherd Felix coming down the sidewalk. Mackenzie reaches into the treat bag as Felix waits for him patiently. Mackenzie leans forward and combs Felix on the grooming table. Mackenzie and Felix walk through a busy intersection. The new team stands proudly in Alumni Hall looking towards the camera. Congratulations, Felix's Razors, Janelle James and Becky Little. Now we have Marianne and her black lab, Lopi, coming towards us down the sidewalk. Marianne and Lopi have just stepped up on the curb, having come through a brick crosswalk. Marianne crouches down at the entrance to White Plains as Lopi reaches up and gives her a kiss. After a busy day of training, the two take a break, Marianne on the couch and Lopi on the floor. With Marianne sitting cross-legged on the floor, she and Lopi look deep in conversation. Congratulations, Lopi's Razors, the Sander family. Next, we have Patrick and his yellow lab Hogan walking through a crosswalk with a brick building behind them. Pat and Hogan maneuver around yellow caution tape and postal boxes along the curb. In a close-up, we see Pat crouch down, giving Hogan a big hug around the neck. We see Hogan turns and checks in with Patrick as they wait at the corner of a busy intersection. We see the river behind them as Pat and Hogan walk briskly down the walkway over the Hudson. Congratulations, Hogan's Razors, the Larry Dean family and Jean Dragala. Now we see Talia and her black lab Kirby coming through a crosswalk. Talia and Kirby maneuver past an orange and white barrier at a job site. Cross-legged on the floor, Talia laughs as Kirby sits on her lap. From their left, we see Talia and Kirby coming down the pavement with plantings and trees beyond them. The trainer holds a support leash as Talia and Kirby come past a brick building. Congratulations, Kirby's Razor, Katie Maley. Here we see Tanner and his yellow lab Wes walking with the trainer through a crosswalk. Now Tanner and Wes negotiate yellow caution tape and orange cones. Now the new team sits at a low stone retaining wall and looks towards the camera. Wes rests his head on Tanner's leg as they sit at the grooming table. On a beautiful sunny day, Tanner and Wes are walking on the walkway over the Hudson. Congratulations, Wes's Razor, Megumi Muraho. and here we have a collage of the class in various environments with their dogs. In the class portrait, the graduates are seated with their guides in front of them and their trainers behind them. We thank this month's sponsors for their generosity. Congratulations to Pat and Hogan and the June 2018 graduating class. May you have many safe steps and successful journeys and adventures together. Larry and Vicki Dean and Jean Dragala. Wishing many years of safe and happy travels to Carlton and Rasha and all the graduating teams of the June 2018 class, Mary Lee and Tom Walton. We gratefully acknowledge the Fain family for their support of our online streaming.
To all those in attendance here, as well as our online viewers at home, welcome to the June 2018 graduating class from Guiding Eyes for the Blind. I would also like to welcome Guiding Eyes graduate Andrea Connor with her guide dog Gretzky, who's joined us for the day. Let's have one big round of applause for Michelle Munier, who puts together a fantastic slideshow every month. My name's Jolene Hollister. I was the class supervisor for this fantastic group of students. And without further ado, let's bring them in. Starting with from Gardner, New York, Marianne Spano and Lopi. From Seattle, Washington, Carlton Bulkin and Rasha. From Tallahassee, Florida, Mackenzie King and Felix. From Austin, Texas, Talia Woodard and Kirby. From Chatham, Virginia, Tony Campbell and Walter. From Littleton, Colorado, Chaz Davis and Trisha. From Langley, British Columbia, Canada, Dave St. Louis and Denver. From Fort Worth, Texas, Dee Dee Ober and Flash. We also recognize today 2 students that were with us here for the first 2 weeks of class as part of our action training. They finished their training this week in their home area. We also had from Washington, D.C., Pat Leahy and Hogan, as well as from Phoenix, Arizona, Tanner Jers and Wes. They were trained by senior instructor Chrissy Vetrano. Also being recognized today, graduating from our special needs program, from Salem, Oregon, Donna Stone and Eldon, home trained by special needs instructor Jesse DiNapoli. And also 2 graduates from our home training program this month, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Cheyenne Smith and Wendy, home trained by Field Representative Mike Gehring. And last but not least, today we recognize Marianne Bartkowski and her dog Delilah from Elgin, Illinois, home trained by Field Rep Dave Hagman. And at this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to our president and CEO, Tom Panic.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Guiding Eyes for the Blind. And it's so great to be here for graduation. This is a moment where we all get to come together and to celebrate our success in bringing these dogs together with these students, now graduates, as we fulfill our mission, which is to provide guide dogs to people with vision loss. I'd like to start by welcoming everybody that has come from so far and nearby. You know, today as I was meeting many of you, I recognize that you've come from many different places, as far away as Arizona, 3,200 miles for Tara to recognize Flash graduation, 2 car breakdowns, but you made it with your dad. Thank you, Tara. We also had individuals come by many different means. We had a couple here, Craig and Barbara, came by boat. That's a first for me. Up the Hudson River. That's pretty impressive. The Wolfs, also donors, decided to stop by for graduation, so thank you. Appreciate that. You know, we come to this moment only because we all come together as a community. And it takes donors and volunteers to be able to accomplish what we do today. And I want to start by saying thank you to a couple of people that have made today's graduation possible and that are our graduation sponsors. And watching online, I'd like to thank both Larry and Vicky and Jean Dragala, the deans, for sponsoring Hogan's graduation. So thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. Hogan was paired with Pat through our action program, and Pat Leahy, a longtime friend of mine, lives in Washington, D.C., and is able to travel safely. He's had Guiding Eyes dogs for a long time now and able to contribute to not only helping us, he works in Washington, D.C., helping people have access to be able to vote, very important job, but also be able to get around and represent individuals from an advocacy perspective. Hogan's a big boy too, 80 pounds, so appropriately named, right? Anyway, at the end of the day, it does take sponsors to be able to help people like Pat succeed with their Guiding Eyes dog. We also want to thank the other sponsors at graduation today. And later in the program, Jennifer Padal, our Chief Development Officer, will talk a little bit more about our Pathfinder program, where you get to put your estate plan together and recognize and sponsor a Pathfinder dog. And you'll hear a little bit more about our Pathfinder dog sponsors who sponsored Rasha. And Rasha is graduating, of course, today as well. So I'd like to pause for a second from the sponsors and talk a little bit about our dogs. Okay. You know, one thing I want to say is I think our dogs are the best. And, you know, people say you can't really say they're the best, but I got to say they are the best. And I want to say, why are they the best? Now, what makes Guiding Eyes dogs the best dogs in the world? And I've come up with 3 real definitive reasons, but I'm going to have a little bit of audience participation on this one because I want to hear from you as well. The first reason I think our dogs are the best is because of the breeding and genetics. So we have a team that works together with Jane Rossenberger and Clover and Lou and Barbara to help make sure that when we are looking at breeding our dogs, that we use estimated breeding values, that we really think about the breeding part of the program. And through the whelping kennel and the breeding kennel, we make sure that whatever qualities that we're able to follow, whether it's harness sensitivity or health and wellness, that we're breeding the best dogs. And so it starts there. And there's a lot of science that goes into that. And anybody who's interested in that science can look to Guiding Eyes as being a thought leader in that space because we pay a lot of attention. And that's where it starts. The second is the training. And our trainers, our master trainers, we have an apprentice program here, and Gerald Brenninkmeyer oversees the apprentice program. All of our trainers start as apprentices. They go under blindfold, and they get the experience of the students to know what is it like to travel and to participate as a person who is visually impaired, blind, with a dog. And so that apprentice program allows us to really hone the training skills under Kathy Zabricki here and her leadership to make sure that our dogs really have the skills that they need to be able to succeed. And then there's something else that makes our dogs incredibly special, And I'm going to pass the mic around and just ask for a second here for anybody to participate. We have some very vocal friends from Manhattan. I know you're not shy. You want to take that and give us your opinion on what makes these dogs so special?
I would say just every puppy that we've come in contact with has so much compassion. They're so attached to the people around them. And it's really the Guiding Eyes community, which I think feeds that quite a bit.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else want to tell us why our dogs are so special?
Hi, Liz. I'm also from Manhattan, and congratulations on Denver. Just to complete what Liz was saying, we're puppy raisers, and I have only worked as a puppy raiser for Guiding Eyes for the Blind, but I can't imagine a better organization that's more supportive, more clear, more instructive, and how we, as people who love dogs, get a little 8-week-old puppy and keep it for 14 to 16 months and turn it back to you with a very, very solid foundation of home manners, socialization, being perfectly behaved in a situation like this. So I commend the Puppy Raiser program and our regional managers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. And that's it. That's it in a nutshell. The love that you provide the dogs as raisers is what I think would be the third element that makes them so special. To be able to provide them with the baseline skill set that they need then to go into the training program is what brings it all together to make a Guiding Eyes dog possible. And that's what makes them the best. Now, being the best does not mean that they're perfect, right? They're perfect to us. But even Gus here the other day, I'll tell a very brief story. I was getting home and I was leaving school, and the kitchen staff, students, you all know the kitchen staff, they just feed us so well. They sent me home with a couple of cookies, right? So I had 3 cookies in the car when I left. And my driver is actually here, Hernan. Where are you, Hernan Dewar? He should be here. And I have to say, when I got home, there were only 2 cookies. And it was either Gus or Hernan. I'm not sure which one it was. But I didn't have enough to go around by the time I get home to my kids. So there you go. They're the best. But, you know, and you students, as you learn to work with your dog, you know this too. We rely on our dogs to safely guide us through life. And part of the reason why it takes 3 weeks through this program, or the action program and the follow-up that we offer, is because it's an ongoing process of learning how to work with your dog, to travel safely, to navigate. And as a community, we're all there for you as you move forward with your Guiding Eyes dogs to be able to provide you with ongoing success as you tackle your life adventures, no matter how big or how small. Finally, I'd like to welcome to the stage our Vice President of Training Programs to talk a little bit more about the Raiser experience as well as training, and that is Kathy Zubricki. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome everyone to today's graduation. And we're here today to celebrate our graduates and also to honor all those who made today possible. And I'd like to recognize at this moment a very special group of people, our puppy raisers, and I'd like to invite them all to please stand up. You are truly an extraordinarily generous group of people, and by raising a Guiding Eyes puppy, you have provided another person with the opportunity to travel with greater independence, confidence, and to enjoy the joyful companionship a guide dog provides. And we're so deeply grateful to all of you. Oh, he joins. So thank you. We're so deeply grateful to all of you, and thank you for all that you do to support us and to support our students. Thank you. Now, if someone were to ask me to describe Guiding Eyes, I would say that we are an organization that is in service. We are in service to the puppies and dogs in our care. We are in service to our students and our graduates, our volunteers and donors, and we are also in service to each other. So Jolene, Shannon, Nikki, Mary Beth, who's not here today, Amy, and Nick. Thank you for all. You have clearly demonstrated what it means to be in service. Thank you for all that you've done to make this class so successful. And graduates, this is your moment. This is your day. Embrace it. Savor it. You've worked very hard to get here. I can only imagine, though, that 3 weeks ago when you were beginning your relationship with your guide dog, some of you may have thought and wondered, uh-oh, what have I gotten myself into? And some of you may have even felt that learning everything you needed to know about partnering with a guide dog was just going to be impossible. And yet here you are, ready to go home. And so the impossible has become possible. Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Congratulations, all of you, for daring so greatly. And on behalf of the entire Guiding Eyes staff here in Yorktown, Patterson, and all our remote staff, you're wished every continued success and many happy adventures with your new guide dog. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Now it's my pleasure to bring up Marianne Spano along with Carlton Vulcan. So please bear with us for one moment as we do some slight adjustments for preparation. All right, your computer. One. One more item. No one ever told me that part of being class supervisor was playing Vanna White.
Okay, I think.
Welcome, friends, family, and the entire staff here at Guiding Eyes for the Blind. This is an exciting day for all of us. I want to start off with thanking Tom, the CEO. Next, I want to thank everyone here who helped get the dogs and us to where we are now. First off, the puppy raisers. If it weren't for you, these dogs wouldn't be as good as they are with their house rules and manners. Thank you for being so selfless and taking care of and starting these dogs off on the right path. They have now become our partners and friends for life. Next, the trainers. Without you two ladies, Nikki and Shannon, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you for the countless hours and getting our dogs ready for this wonderful journey we have just started. You put so much time and effort, not only taking care of and training them, but then you had to work with us and them. You had to make sure we were a good fit, trying to find the right harness, the right pace, etc. But at the end of each day, we grew stronger as a team. Thank you again to our wonderful trainers. We can't forget about our class supervisor, Jolene. Every day she had new surprises to throw at us, such as driving cars straight at us for traffic checks, or getting us hyped up on sugars to distract us for night trips. We thank you for keeping us on our toes and making us laugh while still teaching us and guiding us. Thank you for keeping us all together and motivating us each day. We couldn't have done it without you. Next is the nurse, Marianne, and her wonderful staff. Thank you for being there just to listen to us talk or lend a hand when needed. Always so kind and caring. Of course, we can't forget about the kitchen staff for making sure we were well fed no matter how much of a picky eater you were. Let me say, you never went hungry here, always feeding us good, sometimes too good. But we are so grateful for the kind staff in the kitchen. Maria, Margaret, Andrea, Josh, Nick, and Jerome are so wonderful. Thank you. Next is the admission department. Without you, of course, we wouldn't be in this wonderful place receiving this most precious gift. Last thanks is to everyone who came out today to watch us become a certified guide dog team and who cares so much about each and every one of us. We all vary in age from 18 to 60 years old. We all come from different parts, some from cities, some from country areas. Some of us are athletes, some of us are attending college and working on our degree. Some of us here have worked in the nuclear industry. Some of us here are going into the field of human service. But we came here for the same reason. In all this, we have one thing in common, but in a different way. We have some who have blindness that runs in their genetics. We have some who were in accidents. But in the end, we all ended up in this one lovely place to receive the most amazing gift ever, a guide dog. I know that we all had such a great and amazing experience here with each staff member and trainer. We are so grateful for this gift we are walking away with today. Now, as our class supervisor said, we now have our driver's license. We are now in full control, but it is a partnership. It is a 50-50. We both have to work together as a team with one another. Now, to my classmates, we made it through all the first time pulling, tugging, the first time corrections, and not knowing what's right or what's wrong. But we got through it and made it till today. Thank you to all of you for being so kind and sharing a lot of laughs and good times. Now, good luck to each of us on our next journey with our guide dogs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marianne and Carlton. I don't know if I've ever been serenaded through a graduation speech before. It was very lovely. No graduation would be complete without acknowledging the proud puppy raisers. And at this time, Manhattan Group is lively, Tom. I would like to introduce Bethany Reinhart, Regional Manager for Puppy Program, to make the presentation of the photos and certificates.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Guiding Eyes for the Blind Canine Development Center, I'd like to extend our sincere and heartfelt congratulations to the June 2018 graduating class, and a special shout out to Denver and Trisha, who were raised in my regions. I'd like to thank our team of over 1,400 volunteers, our generous donors, and our dedicated staff, who all play an important part of the journey of a Guiding Eyes puppy. From broodstead foster families, home socializers, early socializers, home litter care providers, puppy sitters, regional coordinators, kennel and administrative volunteers here in Yorktown and in Patterson. And finally, our puppy raisers, who give the ultimate gift of bringing a puppy into their home, loving it, taking care of it, training it, and then giving it back so that we can train, our amazing trainers can train them to become future guide dogs. So I'd like to ask every person who volunteers for Guiding Eyes, whether it's a puppy raiser, foster, anything, please stand so we can give you a well-deserved round of applause. We say it truly takes a village to raise a puppy, and I can attest to that. All right, so now the part that our raisers all look forward to, it's time to present our certificates and photos. So Jolene is holding up one of them. I'd like to ask one member from each puppy raising family to please come up to receive their certificate and photo. All right, so to start us off, we have Guiding Eyes for the Blind Denver, raised by Liz and Maggie Beller in the Lower Westchester region. Sometimes some of our dogs have multiple puppy raisers, so for Guiding Eyes Felix, we have 2 raisers, Janelle James from the Catoctin region. And this was a mother-daughter duo, so also raising Felix was Becky Little from Catoctin. Guiding Eyes Flash was raised by the Scatz family from Capitol, New York. From the Erie, New York region, we have Katie Malley, who raised Guiding Eyes Kirby. Guiding Eyes Lopi was raised by the Sander family from the southwestern Vermont region. Guiding Eyes Rasha was raised by Barbara and Dick Liebert from the Dominion, Virginia region. They were not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Tricia was raised by Leslie Hupke from the Sullivan County region. Guiding Eyes Walter was raised by Alice Wheelock from the New Hampshire region. She wasn't able to be here today. Also raising Guiding Eyes Walter, we have Eric Charnley from New Hampshire. And also Tiffany Tomaselli from New Hampshire as well. From our action program, we have Guiding Eyes Hogan, raised by the Larry Dean family from Cleveland West. They were not able to be here today. Also raising Guiding Eyes Hogan, Jean Dragala from Cleveland West. They were not able to be here. Guiding Eyes West was raised by Megumi Murao from Southwest Connecticut. And from our home training department, we have Guiding Eyes Delilah, raised by Carla and Bruce Gentile from Dominion, Virginia. Guiding Eyes Eldon was raised by Melina Carroll from southwestern Vermont. And last but not least, we have Caroline Costello and Diane Sugarman from North Carolina, who raised Guiding Eyes Wendy. And from small beginnings come great things. I would like to introduce, I believe we have all 3 puppies coming out. We have Deja, Dempsey, and Coconut. Coconut is a yellow lab, and Deja and Dempsey are 2 of our German shepherds. And I believe all 3 of these pups are spoken for. I think 2 are going to these people over here. And but if anybody is interested in raising a puppy or getting another puppy to raise, please come see me after graduation and I can direct you to the appropriate place. You can just take a 40-minute car ride north and pick one up. All right. Very good. Awesome. All right. Oh, and also they will be available for potographs at the end of graduation down in the canine salon. All right. All right. So to end with a quote, I leave you with a quote by Helen Keller. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Bethany. I would say they should check my room later to make sure one little shepherd didn't disappear, but, well, it's going home with my sister, so I might get in trouble. Yeah, or my niece might yell at me too. All right. So today's graduation would absolutely not be possible without the amazingly talented staff that I've had the pleasure to work with the last few months, as well as especially the last 3 weeks. So ladies, I'm going to ask you to please stand. Shannon McGee, Nikki Wentz. These two ladies have put their heart and soul into these dogs and managed 3 weeks on a little sleep and a lot of training and a lot of effort to complete class. You've made class super easy by training amazing dogs and being very dedicated. You can have a seat now, because I know you're waiting for me to tell you that. I can't forget to remind you that Chrissy Vetrano was also with us for the first 2 weeks training our action students. I believe she's off on another training already, if not shortly. Also, to mention, Tom mentioned our apprentice program at the beginning of graduation. With us for the first 7 days of class was Mary Beth Hetty, who has recently begun her apprenticeship. She spent the first 7 days, 24/7, under blindfold with this group. And I must say that these guys welcomed her with open arms, offering some fantastic tips on how to navigate the world as a visually impaired person. She received a dog just like them. Unfortunately, she could not make it here today because, well, it's graduation season. So her brother won out. Her brother's graduating from high school at the same time. So that's why she couldn't be here with us today. Also, class could not happen without our IA, Amy Sander. So please stand up. As much as we like to call ourselves organized, and well, I'm organized, but Nikki and Shannon kind of might top me. I'm not sure. Amy can do it and be done even before we think to tell her to do something, which keeps everything rolling like a well-oiled machine. So thank you very much. That is also who you will be looking for later on for the kennel tour, which we will point out again. Now to these teams that sit here before us. The level of commitment, determination, and confidence you've shown during class is exceptional. Class is stressful in and of itself. 3 weeks away from your normal routine, from friends and family, coming together with what started as 11 people you've never met before. Taking in all the information that we give you. Keep in mind, 7 of these folks in front of you are here for their first guide dog. 7. Have never done this before. They were all there to support one another and saying, oh boy, what'd we get ourselves into? Which then turned into, I'm so glad we did. You guys have forged new friendships that will last a lifetime, even if 2 of you came in already knowing each other and were good friends to begin with. From your first Rocky workouts a couple weeks ago to conquering Manhattan just a couple of days ago, you all leave here tomorrow with a new level of confidence and independence. Now to present to you your graduation certificates, starting with Dee Dee Ober and Flash. I just realized I forgot to mention one staff member who had the tall order of attempting to keep up with Chaz during his running guides training for the last 2 weeks. Nick Speranza was also with us. So Chaz Davis and Trisha. Talia Woodard and Kirby. Carlton Bulkin and Rasha. Marianne Spano and Lopi. Mackenzie King and Felix. Tony Campbell and Walter. And Dave St. Louis and Denver. Congratulations to you all. And to wrap things up, I'd like to introduce Jen Padal, our Chief Development Officer, for some announcements and closing remarks.
Thanks, everybody, and welcome to everybody. I always sit in the back during graduation so that I can watch the room, because it's my favorite thing to try to guess who are the puppy raisers who are like leaning like this and like cameras because they haven't seen that dog in so long, and the friends and family of our graduates who, you know, are just hearts so full today, as well as our instructors and staff who are just sitting so tall with pride, which they deserve to do. And I love watching all of you graduates who I think experience every emotion as the ceremony progresses. And I get the special role of thanking our sponsors. Nothing that happens at Guiding Eyes happens without our very important donors. And Tom mentioned Larry and Vicki Dean and Jean Dragala, who are one of our graduation sponsors today. And Larry and Vicki have raised 8 puppies in the Cleveland West region. And Jean is raising right now her 22nd and 23rd puppies. So wonderful, cover the spectrum. And our next sponsors, Mary Lee and Tom Walton, who are also watching online today. They are from Texas and have been friends of Guiding Eyes for a long time, for about 10 years. And they're also Pathfinders in addition to sponsoring graduation today. And Pathfinders are donors who leave a gift in their estate for Guiding Eyes. And because Tom and Mary Lee were so inspired by the good work of Guiding Eyes, not only did they leave an estate gift for Guiding Eyes, but they also decided to now make a gift that would sponsor an entire guide dog team. So we thank them very much for both of those important gifts. And when you become a Pathfinder, you have the option to follow the journey of a Pathfinder pup. And we have two Pathfinder pups graduating today, Rasha, who was followed by Mary Lee and Tom, and also Kirby, who's graduating with Talia today. So their stories were extra special for some of our donors. Pathfinders play an important role, and our planned giving plays an important role in how we fund the good work of Guiding Eyes. So I just want to take a moment for those watching online and who may be in the audience today to thank people who have remembered Guiding Eyes in their estate plan. Your thoughtfulness, it really does enable us to create these life-changing partnerships like the ones we're celebrating today, and make sure that we can do this for years to come. So if you're ever considering making an estate gift to Guiding Eyes, you don't have to be wealthy to make a planned gift like this. We have information in the back, or I'm happy to talk to anyone who might be interested. There's information in our Pathfinder newsletter that's outside in the back here. So congratulations to the graduates and to everybody who came together to make this possible today. I have a couple of announcements before we wrap it up. We'll have a cake reception up in the dining room right after the ceremony today. I know lots of you are puppy raisers in the room and are eager to say hello to the graduates and the puppy that you raised. I would just remind you or encourage you to let the graduates take their dog out of harness, have a seat. You don't all have to come up here. We can meet our graduates and pups in the hall or down the hall. Everyone's excited today. So if we can just take a moment and do that in a calm manner, which is said to all parties involved. And then we have, you saw the puppies. They are down in the grooming salon, which is all the way down the hall, and turn left. They are there for pictures and selfies and some cuddling. And then we'll do a kennel tour. Amy, there you are right there. Amy's going to do our kennel tour. So we'll meet for the kennel tour at the double doors down the hall, the double glass doors, at usually about 3 p.m., maybe a little bit before then. Yeah, in about 20 or 30 minutes. So we'll do a kennel tour for anybody who's interested. And that is it. Thank you so much, and congratulations to all of you, and enjoy the rest of the day.